The small Bavarian town of Klingenberg am Main looked peaceful from the outside. Rolling green hills, cobblestone streets, and the quiet chime of church bells gave the impression of serenity. But behind the closed doors of the Michel family's modest home, something unspeakable was unfolding. Anneliese Michel was just like any other young woman. Born in 1952, she was devoutly Catholic, polite and diligent in her studies. Friends remembered her as shy but kind, her dark hair framing a pale face that often lit up with a quiet smile. For years, nothing seemed unusual, but as she entered her late teens, that began to change. At first, it was subtle. In 1968, she began suffering seizures, and doctors diagnosed her with temporal lobe epilepsy. The condition was serious, but not unusual. She was prescribed medication and told that it would manage the episodes. Yet even with treatment, her condition worsened. She began to experience terrifying visions, demonic faces appearing before her eyes while she prayed, strange voices whispering her name at night. By 1973, Anneliese's behavior had become deeply disturbing. She would fly into violent fits, her body contorting with unnatural strength. She began rejecting holy objects, recoiling violently at the sight of crucifixes, and refusing to walk past chapels. Sometimes her family claimed she would fall to the ground and bark like a dog for hours or hiss like a snake. Her mother, Anna, watched in horror as her once gentle daughter tore rosaries apart with her bare hands and screamed obscenities in voices that did not sound like her own. Doctors tried new medications, but nothing helped. The visions grew worse. Anneliese began to say that she was possessed, not by one demon, but by several. She named them: Lucifer, Judas, Nero, Cain, Hitler, and others. Her family, devout Catholics, turned to the church. At first, local priests hesitated. The church required careful investigation before approving an exorcism, fearing both medical misdiagnosis and public scandal. But as Anneliese's condition grew darker, her pleas more desperate, 2 priests were eventually assigned: Father Arnold Renz and Father Ernst Alt. In 1975, the exorcisms began. They were not quiet rituals in shadowed corners. They were brutal, violent, and terrifying. Over the course of 67 exorcism sessions, some lasting up to 4 hours, Anneliese screamed, growled, and spoke in guttural voices that seemed to come from somewhere deep within her. The priests recorded much of it on tape. In those chilling audio files, Anneliese's voice changes, sometimes to a low male growl, sometimes to a mocking hiss. The entities argued with each other through her body, cursing, blaspheming, and laughing. her body wasted away. She stopped eating, claiming the demons would not allow it. Her knees bled from the hundreds of times she forced herself to kneel and pray. Her face became gaunt, her eyes sunken, but in moments of eerie clarity, she would beg those around her to keep going, to continue the exorcisms, to free her soul. Neighbors whispered that strange things were happening at the Michel home. Some claimed to hear screams in the night. Others said the air around the house felt unnaturally heavy, that animals avoided the property. By June of 1976, Anneliese weighed barely 30 kilograms. On the morning of July the 1st, after nearly a year of relentless rituals, she died. The official cause? Malnutrition and dehydration. Her parents and the priests were brought to trial, accused of negligent homicide. The courtroom was packed, journalists scribbling every word. The defense argued that Anneliese had asked for the exorcisms herself, that she had refused food willingly, that her suffering was beyond medical explanation. The prosecution pointed to the tapes, to the medical records, to the fact that modern treatment had been abandoned. The jury found the priests and her parents guilty, but with reduced sentences. The priests received suspended prison terms, and the Michels were spared further punishment. But the story did not end there. Some believed Anneliese Michel was simply a tragically ill young woman. Her epilepsy and severe depression, untreated properly, in a deeply religious environment. Others believed she was truly possessed, and that her suffering was proof of the existence of evil. Her grave in Klingenberg became a place of pilgrimage. Visitors claimed to feel a strange presence there, some leaving flowers, others kneeling in prayer. To this day, the recordings of her exorcisms remain some of the most chilling evidence in paranormal history. In them, you can hear the desperate screams, the voices arguing inside her, and the final, heartbreaking moments of a young woman caught between medicine, faith, and something darker. Some call her a victim, some call her a martyr, but all agree the story of Anneliese Michel is one of the most terrifying tales of the 20th century.